We had already had a full morning's birding, but it wasn't over yet. It was time to board our boats and set off on Lake Victoria. The boats were converted local fishing vessels and were designed to operate with water welling up in the keel. This would have been used to wash the catch. Unfortunately, water also welled up elsewhere, and more than one of us ended up with wet bottoms. Oh well, the sacrifices we make for birding. At first we hogged the edge of the lake, disturbing a great egret, which promptly flew off. This striated heron fishing from a boulder displayed amazing concentration and sang-froid as it steadfastly ignored 2 boatloads of birders staring at it. This reed cormorant was equally uninterested in us. A migrant common sandpiper must have been relieved to make it to Kenya, and not to have to brave the rigors of a northern winter. A cheeky African pied wagtail joined us on the boat and rowed along for a while. More pied, this time pied kingfishers. These were very common along this shoreline. This one is female, as shown by the single broken breastband. We had first seen African open-bill yesterday, but not well, so it was great to get up close with this bird. The bill is very specialized for catching and eating the bird's preferred prey, aquatic snails. The open part of the bill grasps the prey while the closed tip stops the shell from sliding forwards and away. A small flock of pink-backed pelicans, new for the trip, passed overhead. Not new, but good to see, was a yellow-billed stork. A marabou stork flew off, as a hammerkop looked on. We had a couple of target species here, the Papyrus gonolek and the greater swamp warbler. Both would prove difficult. Papyrus gonolek finally gave itself up for a couple of record shots. Greater swamp warbler was seen but not photographed. Less of a target but still welcome was a broad-billed roller perched on a snag in the middle of the water. The lake was getting a little choppy. We had been late to start out and the winds had freshened since we had embarked. It wasn't terrible, but it did make photography, and particularly videos, more challenging. We turned towards the open water of the Kavirondo Gulf of Lake Victoria. More reed cormorants adorned the structures in the water, which included a number of floating pens, presumably some sort of fish farm. And the tops of the pens were covered in birds. These were mainly whiskered terns, but there was the odd white-winged tern mixed in. There were no gulls. Also standing on the pens were little egret and grey heron. A couple couple of hours had shot past and we had to head in, landing at another spot on the lake, Hippo Point. This was a bustling holiday spot with bars, restaurants, and lots of market stalls. The safari vans had been brought to this spot and we loaded up, ready for a steady ride to Kakamega Forest. We arrived at the Isekino Forest Station, ready for a wander. We had only just got out of the vans when we saw this Stuhlmann's blue monkey, one of a small group in the surrounding trees. These arboreal monkeys live in evergreen forest and come to the ground very irregularly. They eat mainly fruit and leaves, but will take flowers and some insects too. This area of the forest was relatively open, being a plant nursery of native species grown to help replant the forest. We were very pleased to find a white-throated bee-eater in this area, showing very well. Also found around the nursery area was our first forest weaver and grey-headed nigrita. We found this African harrier hawk sitting in a palm tree and seemingly tearing at the palm fruits. This seemed to be odd behavior for a raptor, but apparently there was a nest in the heart of the tree and the hawk was after that. It certainly was persistent. We found our first of the excellently named joyful greenbulls. These birds would bounce around the bushes, singing loudly, and totally avoiding the skulking behavior of the other greenbulls. They were going to be favorites of ours in the next few days. We had 2 Mackinnon's shrikes perched on a power line in fading light. The female had the chestnut flank patch. We ended the day with an eastern double-collared sunbird before we headed to our accommodation. We were staying for 3 nights at the Rondo Retreat Center, a site perched in the middle of the Kakamega forest. Tomorrow we would tackle the forest for real. For more information, see our 3-volume travelogue, available as ebook or paperback, from Amazon. Interested in Mexican birding? Look out for our videos on our channel and travelogues on Amazon. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to our channel. Don't miss all the other videos in our Kenyan birding safari series.